Today we'll be talking about leadership and coaching, especially around the high school realm, and really focusing on communication as the primary leadership style in coaching. Here's some quotes from coaches around the coaching world. First is by Nick Saban. He says, "Coaching is teaching. Teaching is the ability to desire learning." This is big in a team aspect, just to teach your athletes what they need to know. Second is John Wooded saying, make sure the team members know they are working with you, not for you. And third, from Jay Billis, the aim is to minimize mistakes while still striving to execute, but not be paralyzed by the concern about a negative outcome. Allowing your athletes to make mistakes, and you make mistakes as well, because everyone will, and bouncing back off those mistakes really shows your character as a coach, player, and team. Here's the overview of what I'll be talking about today, revolving around communication. First, we'll provide direction. Second, confront athletes. And third, instill values. And then that will lead into the team culture, which is respect, interest, and involve. First is provide direction. Athletes want to be guided, whether they think they do or not. Especially in high school, kids are trying to figure out what they really want to do, who they are, what their identity is, and just trying to allow yourself to be that impact on their life, to let them figure out who they are, will go a long way in directing them to their future endeavors. Second is set goals. This is huge, either preseason or in season, setting goals in game, before the season, such as winning conference, winning state, being 500, having winning record, stuff like that will allow the team to know the direction that you want them to be headed in. The third is process-oriented versus result-oriented. Here at Judson, our baseball team is very process-oriented. We want to do everything the right way, lift weights, throw, run, do all the little things which lead into the results. We don't want to just focus on the winning. We don't want to focus on getting to the national finals, but we have to respect the process and know the process in order to get those results we want as a team. And this quote from Rick Warren says, if you are going to lead, you've got to be thinking further in advance than the people you are leading. This is easy with high school athletes because usually they don't really know what they want or really the direction they want to be headed. So just allowing yourself to give that direction would be huge for your team. Second is confront your athletes. First, set your team policy for misbehavior on and off court. That is simple. This may be given by the school, and really, you as a coach need to enforce it at all costs. Team versus player issues. Dealing with a team as a whole, or a player individually, just knowing and understanding when the appropriate time is to deal with those certain issues, whether that be after, before, or during practice. Just knowing the right time when to confront your athlete. On court versus off court. On the court, you can deal with it very quickly. You know what the mistake is, or the ability to confront your athlete is easy to be done on the court. But off court, it's harder, especially when they get home, hang out with their friends, test the waters, find out what they want to do. This could be dealt with the school or administration and you as a coach. And then a quote from Mike Ditka says, there's a sign in my office that says one word: communication. I don't always do the best job, but I know it's the most important thing you can do. Third is to instill values. This revolves around the coaching philosophy you as a coach set before your coaching career. Just understanding your values and going along with those values, which lead into point number 2, which is practice what you preach. Understand that you cannot say things and do something else. You need to revolve your life or your coaching career around those values that you set. because that builds trust between the player and the coach. And then these three values here, point number 3, are the things that I value most: responsibility, integrity, and character. And then this last quote is from Quinn Snyder, talking about John Wooden. He says, "There were words that you used to instill values in us that we will carry with us forever." Having the impact on your athletes as a coach can go a long way. And now Quinn Snyder is the head basketball coach of the Utah Jazz. And John Wooden definitely had an impact on his life during his playing career. Now we'll go into the team culture aspect. First, respect. Respect teammates, coaches, the school, teachers, players, anybody who's involved with the team. Just respect. Establishing that respect with your players and athletes will allow you to build that trust. And in 1 Corinthians 11:1, it says, "Be imitators of me as I am of Christ." Paul respects the leadership of Christ by telling the church about the Lord. Paul understood what he needed to do in order to be that leader of Christ and teach what he needed to teach to the church of Corinth and Ephesus and so on. And finally, when someone respects a person, they will listen to what they have to say. This is obvious. If you respect a person, you will listen to them whether you like it or not. If there's no respect, it is very hard to retain the information and actually want to listen and sit there when they have to say something. The second point of team culture is interest. Building a genuine relationship with your players off the court is big time. Just understanding what they're going through, because as a high school student athlete, it is very hard for them to figure out who they want to be, and just having that interest in them and really asking them, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your day going? How's this class? How's that class?" Just showing that genuine interest in your players will allow for them to build that team culture because they trust you and they know you care for them. The second is no one likes a two-faced person. As a coach, this is big time, especially when you are dealing with athletes, because they know if you're lying to them or not. Being that genuine, honest person that really reflects your coaching philosophy and your values will allow for the team culture to kind of form around those values that you've set. And they have that interest and that respect to you if you have respect and interest towards them. And John Wooden says it great in this quote. He says, "Seek opportunities to show you care. The smallest gestures often make the biggest difference." Whether that be being on time every single practice, or bringing them a small treat after a game, or just having a team gathering at your house. Just something that shows that you care for your athletes will go a long way. Third is involvement, or involve. No matter what talent level, treat everyone as equally as possible. It's hard to treat your best athlete and your worst athlete the same, because the best athlete plays more, is better, and ultimately you need to be harder on that better athlete because they already know that they're the best, and just striving to make them even better allows them to know that you are involved and want to make them better. And even with the guy that might not be the greatest, involve yourself into him. Allow yourself to coach him and teach him the right ways to do certain things on the court, off the court, because you never know what impact you have on an athlete. Second is everyone involved allows for the unity of the team to mesh. If everyone is involved, everyone has a role, everyone has value, they want to be a part of the team. And if you as a coach are not involved in the players' lives, it's hard for them to mesh as a team. And finally, John Wooden talks about the importance of doing something for someone every day. As a coach, doing it for your coworkers, your teammates, or your athletes, and just for just being there for anybody at any time. So in conclusion, communication is verbal and nonverbal from a leader sets the tone for the team. Especially when providing direction, athletes should know the direction that the coach is headed and wants to be going toward. Confronting your athletes on and off the court issues should be addressed responsibly. Instilling values revolves around athletes learning life lessons, not just the sport. And then through those 3 points, you have your team culture, which is respect through the athletes, coaches, and school, teachers, and so on. Interest on and off the court to what your athletes are doing, and involvement. Everyone has value on your team. Just as a whole, communication in leadership has to be priority, because through providing direction, confronting your athletes, instilling values, they will not know any of that unless you communicate to them what you value, what direction you want to be headed. And so that is my presentation. Thank you for watching.